Rolling. Okay, so first Q&A ever with your boy, Mario Barber, being shot currently by Daniel Williams. Got to give a shouts to the mans. Okay, so the whole purpose of this, the reason I wanted to do this, was to let you guys see a different side of me than just playing guitar. I think it's a lot easier, like for me personally, all of my favorite artists, like Chris Stapleton and John Mayer and City and Color, like I really enjoy watching interviews that they do, or like Q&As and stuff, just because I think, especially as a lyricist, like lyrics are so much of who we are when you're writing your own songs. So just another way for you guys to dive a little bit deeper into who I am, and but I also, you know, I want to interact with you more. So we had an overwhelming amount of questions come in, and so I appreciate that. I can't get to all of them today, but I'm going to do like 8 of the best ones that I thought would show a good side or would kind of explain me a little bit more. So first question is, why did you decide to stop your fencing business completely to pursue music instead of doing both? So I guess first thing to cover is, yeah, I used to own a fencing business with a good friend of mine. I've done fencing, like fencing construction, residential and commercial for a lot of years. And like last year, a buddy of mine and I decided to start a fencing company, and things were going good. It just kind of got to the point where I was talking with my wife, and I was just kind of tired of being somebody that I wasn't. And when I say that, like, music is my whole life. It's been the #1 constant in my life since I can remember. Like, I started writing songs when I was 10 years old. So it's just kind of who I am. And luckily I have a wife that's supportive, and she said, you know what, go for your dreams. So the reason that I didn't do both at the same time is there's been plenty of times where I've tried to take music seriously. But I have 3 kids now, and so it's always been my #1 reservation is, well, you know, I have to make money. And so I never felt comfortable completely leaving a job, and just always tried to do it part-time, music part-time. And luckily we were in a position where we sold our house and were able to devote like 100% of my time to music. And so I really just wanted to take advantage of that and not focus on anything else, and just give everything that I have, heart and soul, into music. So that's why felt like a long answer to it, but that was it. There's a few, I'm looking at some of the questions, and some of them are like really philosophical, like this next one. And I know my sister asked this question, and I told her, I was like, why would you ask this? Because it's going to make me look kind of dumb. But okay, here's the question. #2. If everyone in the world had to have one single value that they all shared and had to live by, what would it be and why? So, this is gonna sound, okay, probably love, right? You know, like, as I don't know if can I say hippie? Is that, hopefully I don't offend anybody, but that seems like something like that everyone said. It's like, you know, the 60s and the 70s, everyone was all about love. But if everyone had to have one value, and that's what everyone lived by, probably love, because it just makes the world a better place, you know? So, okay, moving on. What's your favorite song? Thank you. Those are the kind of questions that I would like to have. That's an easy answer. Favorite song? I don't even know if I could pick one. I could probably pick one from each genre of music right now. But if I'm gonna just go to favorite all-time song, probably In Your Atmosphere by John Mayer. It's a really insanely good song. Especially the very end of the song, he like breaks it down, does some sweet solos, changes completely. So probably In Your Atmosphere by John Mayer. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. It's a phenomenal song. Okay, number 4. How different is the process of getting a song on tape and finished from getting the raw idea out of your head and into its original form? Extremely different. And this is something that I didn't even realize until I just went down to Nashville to record my first EP. Like, this is the first time that I've actually worked with a producer, and it is insanely different. Like, blew my mind how different it was. Basically, like I said, I've written songs since I was like 10 years old, but up until this year, it's always been a very personal thing to where like I'm gonna show my music to other people, but I'm never gonna be like, hey, do you have any ideas on how I can change this? Because to me, it was such a thing of like, this is who I am, and like I'm showing it to you because I just want to share it. But if you tell me that it's bad, or you tell me that it needs to change, like those are fighting words, or they were fighting words up until this year. And so what's insanely different, especially if you're working with a good producer, is they're going to help you develop those songs. So just to give you an example, like I sent a demo to my producer, Brian Hitt. So shout out to Brian Hitt in Nashville, you're amazing. And I'm super excited to show you guys the new EP. Quick plug, it's going to come out hopefully definitely by the end of March. I'll know a date probably within the next week, so I'll update you then. But I sent him a 5-song demo, okay? And these were like the 5 songs that I thought were the best songs that I had. Not a single one of them is on the EP. Not a single one. And he had kind of picked like 3 from those 5 that I sent. And then I was writing songs in the process of us like trying to figure out how we were going to work together. And I wrote 3 new songs that beat all 3 of those songs. And so it's crazy because when you're working with someone else, you have a producer, or if you're just writing with someone else, like you have to be able to be passionate and also extremely critical at the same time, which was something that I hadn't opened up to before. I had never let someone else be critical of my songs and actually like take input and see another side of how something else could make the song better. Because before it was just, this is me, this is how I feel right now, and which is still the case, but it's like, how can we convey that in a better way, and how is this going to be better for the singer or for the listener? So it's insanely different. I think even just like verses alone on these 3 songs that are coming out, I probably changed them, like little words sometimes, like just the different enunciation. So to go from like me strumming an acoustic to putting everything into a track in a studio and developing that song, it's almost night and day. Like it's crazy how different it was. But it's a really, really fun process, and I enjoyed it a lot. So hopefully that answers the question. Okay, number 5. What is the driving force behind your music, and what forces you to continue writing and performing? So what is the driving force? The driving force is music, and I kind of already touched on this, but music is just like who I am. Like it's just who I am. I think back to like all the struggles that I've gone through, and like good moments and bad moments, and the one thing that's always, like I said, constant throughout all of that is music. Not only just enjoying listening to music, but all of the songs that I've written, and like just discovering more about myself through writing songs. And so that is what keeps me going. I also believe that when you are given a gift, you should do everything you can to live out your life through that gift. And so like I said, I mean, I've tried to do other things for so long, and so it feels really good to finally now be doing what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. And however that manifests is beautiful, because no matter what, I'm going to be living out my life through music somehow, some way, in any capacity. So yeah, basically so knowing that that's what I want to do for the rest of my life, that's what continues to make me want to pursue it. It's why I continue to write songs. I'll write songs for forever. And the cool part about writing songs is, as you move through life, you're going to write about different things. And so it's always just kind of like this big collection of experiences that you've had. When you start writing a song, how much of it do you usually, okay, this is like a 3-part question. So I'm going to read it all and then I'm going to have to dissect it. Okay, when you start writing a song, how much of it do you usually have thought out in your head? For instance, do you sit down with just a word or theme and then build off of that? Or are you writing more based off of past experiences and trying to put them into song form? So basically, I think the question is, do I just like sit down with a word and then write a whole song? Or am I like, oh man, I just went through this breakup or whatever, and then I'm going to try and solely write something on that? Yes, both. So there's usually two ways that I will start writing a song. I'll try and give an example of both. So I used to live in Wichita, Kansas, and a good friend of mine took me to this new coffee shop downtown called Reverie, and I had never even heard that word before, and I was like, oh man, that's a cool word, and I looked it up, and it's like the to be lost in a pleasant daydream or thought is the definition. And I think I even said to him out loud, I was like, oh, that'd be a sweet song. And so I literally just wrote a whole song based off of that, and I like that song. I'll probably release it sometime. But so there are times where I'll just hear like a word or somebody says a phrase, and I'm like, oh man, that's a really cool song idea, and I'll try and write something off of that. And then there's times where maybe I'm just going through a tough time and I want to express that. So there are times where I'll write down with like a whole theme in my head where I'm going to talk about trials, or I'm going to talk about the relationship with my wife, or something that I went through. So there are both. There's a lot of ways that I do it. And to get even a little bit deeper, there's sometimes I'll write the lyrics first, and then like have a melody in my head that I want to sing, and then try and figure out the guitar after I have the lyrics. So then I try and write my chord progression around that melody. Other times I'll just be sitting strumming the guitar, and I'm like, oh man, and lyrics will just come out. So there's no like one way that I write songs. It's a little bit of everything. So my answer would be yes to all three of that whole thing that you just asked me. Okay, number 7. What is your biggest expectation while pursuing your music career, and how do you balance your expectations and the reality of the day-to-day grind? That's a pretty solid question. So I'll answer the first part of that. What is your biggest expectation while pursuing your music career? Just to be able to support my family financially. And then anything after that is literally a bonus. Like, I just want to be able to do this for the rest of my life and provide a good family for my family, or provide a good life for my family. So I mean, obviously I have dreams, and like I would love to be able to, have songs on the radio and, get to share my music on a really broad level, like with the world. I think that would be incredible. I think anybody that writes songs, everybody wants to be able to share their craft with the world. So obviously I'm not like actively trying to avoid being famous or, well known. But if I'm able to provide for my family without having that kind of notoriety, then I'm perfectly okay with that. So that's really kind of my expectation with this, is just to be able to provide. While pursuing your music career, how do you balance your expectations and the reality of the day-to-day grind? So basically, like I said, nothing happens overnight, and you've probably heard before, the journey is the goal. Like, we all have these really big goals, and we're obviously going to be trying to get to them. We have like this dream spot that we want to be in, or a certain position that you're going for, whatever. But I think the more that you can learn to love just the journey of trying to get there, the happier you're going to be. So my day-to-day life is just actively pursuing this. And as long as I know that no matter where this takes me, as long as I enjoy trying to do it as a whole, that's a win, that's a success. So I don't really let things get to my head too much. Like, it's like, yes, this is kind of where I want to be. I understand that the only thing that I can control about getting there is just by putting in work. So it's just about consistently taking little steps to get there. Last question. Number 8, how did you know when it was time to go all in? It was literally just like a thought in my head. I was sitting at the dinner table talking with my wife, kind of expressing that, I don't know if I want to do fencing anymore. I don't know if this is, I just kind of had this revelation of like, do you want to be 50, 60, 70 years old and look back and go, man, I wish I would have given it a shot? And the answer was no. Like, I did not want to have that regret. And like I said, luckily we were in a position where we are financially able to, from the sale of the house, to be able to do this and give it a shot. And so I just knew, like, man, I'm 25. I'm not getting any younger, but I'm also at perfect time, I believe, with experiences that I've had so far and still have the energy to pursue this, that it was just the best time to do it. And again, if I wouldn't have had the support of my wife, none of this would have happened. So the fact that she was ready and she was willing to go to take this journey with me, that was all I needed. So that's when I knew. That's when I knew it was time to go all in, just because I was tired of being somebody else. I was ready to be me. So, okay, that is the questions. That's all we got today. Hopefully you guys got to see into my life a little bit, I guess. I don't really know. I feel like I'm trying to sound so philosophical. I'm not a philosophical guy. Okay. Any big announcements, anything that we need to cover on this, or should I just say bye and we're out?
Keep an eye out for the EP.
Keep an eye out for the EP. It's in the final stages of getting mixed and mastered right now, and then it'll be back, and I'll put a release date for iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. It'll be on pretty much every streaming service. And we'll have some new shows coming up soon. We'll make sure to post that. Like and subscribe, please. We're going to start pumping out all kinds of good stuff. Me and Daniel were having some good conversations today. So we'll keep you guys updated. As always, if you have anything that you want to see, if you want to see me do a cover, you want to see more stuff like this, comment below. And appreciate you guys watching. Thanks. We'll see you next time.